Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. So, in the previous video, I had told you guys that I was going to start working on taking down the remaining 2x6 that was in the living room, and guys, it's still there. So, things have not been going as planned with this living room remodel. I had set out to basically just work on remodeling this living room in the past week or so, and well, past couple weeks actually. It's just been spiraling into other project after other project after other project after other project, and it's been incredibly frustrating. It's all stuff that I knew that needed to be done, but I wasn't planning on doing it while also doing the living room. So it's basically just made the entire house a living, breathing, horribly frustrating construction zone. So I had discovered that there was a wire hanging down over here from this ceiling area up here, that it was actually a live wire. Somehow, some way it became live, even though it wasn't previously live. I have no idea. So that set me off on the quest of removing a bunch of old electrical wires and stuff from the box, so then that way there was no chance of that ever happening again with any of the old wires just suddenly becoming electrified again. That led me into finishing rewiring the dining room, which now we have a dining room light, which we have not had the entire time we've had this house. Pardon the massive mess, but I want to show you guys this awesomeness of having a light. So we had been using just a lamp on the table. It's been very dim, very dark, dreary, frustrating, hard to play cards, hard to play board games, that sort of a thing. But now we have a full working, legitimate light. Then, that was yesterday that we got that done. And that was a nightmare and a half to try to get the wires to come out of the ceiling here to then go over to where the switch was at. That took forever, and it was extremely painful and difficult to stick my arms up in there and finagle things. And I also had to cut into the already perfectly finished drywall that was in here. This was the only room that the people before us had started renovating that they had even gotten close to finishing, and it was this room, but we're not a fan of the colors. So I had to actually had to remove the crown molding, cut a big old hole right in there for electrical, so that way I could run the electrical up and through. And then while I was doing that, I also redid some of the electrical in the kitchen. So now we have a really nice kitchen light. We got it at a garage sale, it was like $5. But it now makes it so the kitchen actually can light up all of the way as well. The light that was in there, it was just like a really not nice hanging light that could only have, I think it was like a 40-watt bulb in it. It was like a very small bulb too. So I mean, it was very dreary in there. You had to use flashlights a lot of times if you're trying to see what you were doing, unless if it was really sunny. It made cooking really hard. It made the kitchen be a place you really didn't want to spend any time because you couldn't see and stuff. But now it's like, whoa, this kitchen looks a lot different now with the lights on. I'm like, I should probably bump up my my house cleaning abilities and tone down a little bit on the renovation stuff, because I was like, man, you can see everything. And I'm like, good thing we bought different flooring for in here, because it is really bad. But so that was yesterday. Yesterday, Tracy was home from work. We spent the entire day just doing electrical stuff, and it was just, oh god, it was bad. And then the previous day also, I had worked on doing electrical stuff as well, like I had said in that video. But it's been basically an exhausting journey to try to get this living room done and stuff. And I removed pretty much all of the trim boards that are in the living room that were not original to the house. So the ones that were original to the house are around the windows, and then the front door also has the original trim. So I'm leaving them because if I try to take them off, I'm probably going to damage them, and I don't want to damage the really old boards because I don't want to have to put them back. I don't want to have to recreate it. It's just simpler that way, and I don't think I'd probably even be able to get them off with how tough the wood is in this house, because it is an old house. I imagine that honestly I'm not going to be able to get them off anyway, so I'm not even gonna attempt it. Plus I think it's kind of cool, which I don't think the camera will be able to focus in on it. Sorry. I think it's really cool how the old trim actually has little dings and defects and mess ups in it and stuff. I like the character of old houses. And how it just kind of shows its scars and stuff, almost as if it's telling a story. of its journey. Unfortunately, this house has a lot of scars that are not things that you really want to look at. And this house doesn't have any character left in it because it's all been stripped away. So it's kind of been a bummer, but it is what it is. It was kind of neat though. Whenever I was removing the drywall in the dining room, it was double drywalled, and then underneath that was like some sort of backer board. That's what I call it. It's like a thick cardboard type thing, but kind of like particle board. That apparently was what this house had. I'm assuming it never had plaster, because I've found up against like all the studs and stuff like that, this backer board type thing. But so it was kind of neat because the backer board, you could tell it had like patterns of like flowers and stuff. And then the first layer of drywall, it had been wallpapered over, and it was also flowery. And it's kind of cool because Tracy and I, we absolutely love to grow flowers, and so it's neat to see all these different things. And then when we took the light off in the ceiling of the kitchen, we seen that the ceiling was originally wallpapered before they put the popcorn ceiling in. So it's kind of cool because it was like these cool little geometric shapes and stuff. And I'm like, man, I wish that some of this stuff would have been left, even though like most of it is stuff that would be considered an eyesore. Like it would have been cool if we would have had the choice to take things down, to cover things up, to hide things and stuff. It would have been nice if we would have been able to make that choice, because then we probably would have kept some of it and stuff, just because it's kind of funky, kind of cool and stuff. And we also really like seeing the old character and the way that the house was originally done. So anyways, then today I thought that I was going to just be able to just bust out a whole bunch of work in the living room and stuff. And I got all excited this morning. I got all jazzed up and everything. I was like, yeah, I'm going to make so much progress happen. It's going to be great. Well, after I was done taking care of the animals and stuff, and I was getting my breakfast, I realized that some starlings had figured out a way to get into the house. Not in the inside, on the outside, there was a space that the fascia was not ever finished. It wasn't put on and stuff. So we just had this small-ish hole above the back door. Really not anything major. Like we've just been like, we'll get to it when we get to it. Today was that day, because a whole flock of starlings were trying to make nests inside of the roof area of the house. So Simba, our cat, he was on top of the fridge that was in that area, because we have 2 fridges in our kitchen because of, but so he was on top of the fridge, like trying to jump up and hit the ceiling because he could hear birds up in there. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be fast track to being a today project. So I did get that done. And then I had to take a rest because like it was really cold out and I was really tired and stuff. So I laid down for a little while after I got all that done. But now I'm finally back to working on the living room. So my project for today is actually to take down that 2x6, and then if there's any time left today before Tracy gets home from work after taking that down, which that's going to be a chore in itself, I am going to work on putting up, we were given these styrofoam like insert type things. So what I want to do with them is actually cut them to size to put them in the, I'll get up there so you guys can see, because it's kind of hard to see on camera in the light. So there is nothing stopping any airflow, noise, or anything like that from coming through over in there. And up in that way is where our son Willie's room is. So when he's watching TV or gaming or has music playing or whatever in his room, it's almost like we're sitting in there with him if we're sitting downstairs here, because there's literally nothing to stop the noise from traveling. So I do want to put up some foam and stuff, some styrofoam, just up in these ones here. I might also go the rest of the way here, just so that way there's added noise dampening for in our room. It's not to prevent any sort of like heat loss or cooling loss or anything. It's not for that at all. It's literally just as a potential noise barrier. But it was kind of cool because I did, before I started filming, I did take off the bottom trim board over in here, and I realized that our house was basically Tom and Jerry's, because there is a big old mouse hole there. So this house, before we ever got it, was really badly infested with mice and rats, and there was snakes in here. So yeah, I was waiting and wondering when I would find some sort of like Tom and Jerry type of thing, you know, like the big hole in the wall and stuff. So today was unfortunately that day. I'll have to get the shop vac out and work on sucking out all of the open, like the little cases of the sunflower seeds that the critters clearly had been eating. So yeah, this house has definitely been through a lot. So it is kind of nice to be able to, work on bringing it back to life and stuff, and making it so it's a place that more than just unwanted critters want to live. So yeah, I'm gonna get busy so that way I can try to get at least that 2x6 done and off before Tracy gets home. She much prefers if I'm doing a lot of banging and loud construction stuff that it be done before she gets home, because she gets a headache a lot of times from it and stuff. So I usually try to make sure that I get all that stuff and the noisiness done, so I can just crank out some headphones, get some tunes going and stuff, and just go to town, I suppose. But so I'm going to get busy. So if you guys are enjoying this content, please give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends on social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to help us grow. We'd greatly appreciate it. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.